There are places that live in the heart long after we've left them or visited them. Here, in the south of England, in the county of Dorset, lies a village called Bockhampton. And in this special place, the poet and novelist Thomas Hardy was born in 1840. I remember visiting this place when I was younger, the thatched cottage in a quiet corner of Dorset, where the hedgerows hung with bees and the apple trees cast dapple shadows over soft grass. I was only young when I saw it, but the place stayed in my memory. Not just the cottage, but the garden, which had been laid out as it would have been during Thomas Hardy's time. As a child, I remember the apple trees particularly. So it must have been late summer, I think, when we visited the place. And as an adult, I have often returned. I come to find solace in the garden, where time seems to stand still. Welcome back to Notes from a Quiet Garden. I'm Alison, and this is a little space where stillness lives and we learn to truly notice the little things, especially in nature. In our busy world, it's so easy to be swept along by noise and haste. That's why many of us search out peace. We're yearning for the quiet life, the peace, the tranquility. And even if our busy lives make it hard for us to relax and find that peace, then that's okay. We can keep searching and finding little moments. Maybe a trip out somewhere, maybe a walk in a wood, maybe somewhere quiet and peaceful that we know we can go. Thomas Hardy's cottage is one such place I often return to when I'm looking for some peace. I don't always go into the cottage. Sometimes I take a picnic to the woods nearby. Thomas Hardy was born in this place in 1840. He was the eldest of 4 children, in a home that had been built by his great-grandfather. The garden outside his window, the woods beyond the gate, these were not just scenery, but the very fabric of his imagination. In Hardy's book, The Woodlanders, which he wrote in 1887, he writes, "He looked and smelt like autumn's very brother, his face being sunburnt to wheat colour, his eyes as blue as cornflowers, his sleeves and leggings dyed with fruit stains, his hands clammy with the sweet juice of apples, his hat sprinkled with pips, and everywhere about him the sweet atmosphere of cider, which, at its first return each season, had such an indescribable fascination for those who have been born and bred among the orchards." Even decades later, with the success that he had gained and some sorrow behind him, Hardy returned in his writing to these early images: orchards in August, the hush before dusk, and the still presence of the English countryside. In his poem An August Midnight, Hardy captures one of those small perfect moments: a quiet room, a flickering lamp, and 3 winged visitors at the window. A shaded lamp and a waving blind, and the beat of a clock from a distant floor. On this scene enter, winged, horned and spined, a Longlegs, a moth and a Dumbledore. To Hardy, even the tiniest things, a little night insect, the scent of apples, the sound of birds, became poetry. And he was a great poet. He wasn't just a great novelist, he was also a great poet. And perhaps in a world that often rushes past, this kind of seeing still matters. Here we are back in Bockhampton. It's still here, this cottage, tucked away amongst the trees, watched over by the little robins and wrens. And Hardy, although long gone, still whispers from the hedgerows and footpaths he once walked. When I got home later, I was inspired to create a page in my art journal, and I spent many a happy hour whiling away the time and thinking of that beautiful Victorian garden. I remembered the way the apple leaves curled in the warmth, the hush of the breeze as it passed through the hedgerow, and a line from Hardy echoing gently in my mind. There was no rush, just the joy of being still and of letting memory and place meet on paper. again for joining me today among the apple trees where Hardy once dreamed and wrote, and where stillness continues to speak to us so softly. Whether you keep a journal, sit with a sketchbook, or simply pause in your garden with a cup of tea, I hope you find a quiet moment to notice, and perhaps to write or paint. Until next time, take care and keep noticing the little things in nature, and keep your light shining softly bright.